Hey guys, my name is Veio and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So we're going to start a new project. I'm building a bigger spaceship than I normally would build, so that we can go into space and explore something more than just the Mun, which is about as far as we've got so far. Well, no, we made it to Eve, but not really. So we're going to have a bigger spaceship and we're going to do a solar system tour. That's kind of my ideas. So to begin with, I need to build the ship, and that's what we shall be doing this episode, is building the ship. So here we have the center section, which has the 4 main nuclear rockets. That will be kind of the main thrust, and 2 sections of monopropellant for usefulness, and all the fuel. So that will be our main thing. So then what I'm doing now is we're going to do some docking. So when you dock, if you don't know, you dock. The best way to idea is the thing that you're docking to, align it to either north or south. That way it doesn't move when it precesses around. So it doesn't precess as it moves around the planet. So it should stay at north, and the rotation shouldn't change too much as well. So that's pretty useful. Then we send up our kind of capsules that will be used to house the additional crew. So we're going to have quite a lot of crew. I want this to be a significant manpower, significant ship, so that we can send quite a few things up. And I launch this one up and it gets away quite smoothly. I think so. It did kind of drop it a little bit there, but it's fine. It's up. And we send it up into orbit. Now, that's close enough. Really, you don't need to get there. That'd be fine. The rest of it you can do. In actual fact, you can have your orbits completely disaligned if you've never done... If you're new to docking, docking is actually easier than you think it is once you get used to it. So now we just need to move in, and we just kind of fly straight towards the pink. We set it as our target and fly straight towards it, and then when we get close we stop. So now we're stationary. And then you use the linear thrusters and have one on each 4 directions, and you can actually, if you put them around the centre of mass and put them equal distance, you can actually have quite a lot of control about angles and stuff like that. And lights, remember lights. Although maybe not quite that many lights. It's a little bit glowy. Oopsies. It's fine. I'd rather see than not see. So then we're bringing this down, and we're just going to line it up. And we can ever so slightly, using the fact that we've got these thrusters and they're all around the centre of mass, means that we can literally move that centre of mass around and have exactly the angles that we want. So I'm just lining things up and very, very slowly bring this one in. This is obviously the first one, and I don't want to break the first one. That would not be a good start to today's adventures. So that brings that on. Come on, come on, come on. Dock. So close. There. First one. Brilliant. So that's 1. So that brings up another 3 crew. So now we have 7 crew on board. So we have 3 in that one, and then there's another one that was already on the rocket, but also in the very tip of the rocket I've got a 3rd one. So that's only got 1 person in it, obviously. I thought about not leaving that empty, but I put someone in there in the end. I can always take him out later if I feel like it. So we're just realigning this time. We're just bringing it round, aligning it to 180, and then that should be fine. The rockets have little probes on them, so I can just dump them back down. I had way too much fuel on this thing, to be honest, for what it was required of it, because it's just the same thing as the original rocket, and I've just dumped it down. So we'll just get rid of that. We don't want that. Just fire it. Fire it back at the planet. It's going to land in the ocean. That'll be fine, right? Just don't hit any boats. Right, send up the second one. Nice clean launch. All is well. All is good with the world, as it were. And we'll send that one up. And then we need to bring it around to the spaceship. And no, hell breaks loose. And then everything else breaks loose. And there goes our monopropellant. So that's going to make docking fun. So we don't actually have any monopropellant. But we can still get close. So it's fine. We'll move towards the ship using... towards the final ship using the nuclear thrusters. And then we turn around. And we turn quicker, because we're getting a bit close. Guys, you want to fire the rockets? Fire the rockets! That's okay. That was fine. It's only within 50 meters. It's fine. Could have been worse. Deary me. So then we need to, because I haven't got any monopropellant left on this spaceship, because it flew off into space, which is really helpful. So I'm actually going to have to dock the space station to the capsule rather than the capsule to the space station. So I do the same thing with the capsule, as I align it to north this time, and then what I'll do is bring over the space station and bring it down on top of it, basically. So you just kind of edge this around. I'm doing this in 2 times. Anytime there's a 2 up there, obviously it's 2 times, because docking is a finesse, and it requires a certain level of finesse and patience. And YouTube videos don't do patience. It needs to be done. I can't have 2 hours worth of footage. This is actually 3 hours worth of gameplay, because I messed up a couple of times. We won't shoot those. Yeah. So anyway, you just kind of bring it down and completely miss, but then it's fine. That's what linear jets are for. So we can actually translate literally in one axis. Very useful, these things. And then bring it back, and then we should be good. Almost. The rocket's moving, and then the magnets bring the thing together. And we've left SAS on, but do we need to remember? No, we didn't turn it off. Normally turn SAS off. That's always a good help. And then the same thing, we can just take this guy off, but we don't have any monopropellant. So I tried to be clever and fire at an angle, and then remember drift. And I nearly just clips it. We just get away with that. Just got away with it. A little bit harder, and we could have smashed 2 nuclear devices into each other. Other than only decay things, they're not actual reactors, so that's fine. And then we do the same thing, we just fire this back at the Earth. Sorry, Kerbal. Go back. Line it. We're steering purely on the nuclear engines, and they are glowing rather hot, but it's fine, because they're just going to smash into the Earth, into the Kerbal anyway. I keep calling it the Earth for some reason today. Right. So that's kind of like the spaceship, but I also want to be able to land on at least some things. So I'm going to send over 2 landers and stick them onto the other 2 docks, because we've got 4 docking ports available to us. So this is one of them. I used a different rocket for some reason. I'm not sure why I did this. I should have just stuck the lander on top of the other one I've been using for the other 2, for the actual pods. For some reason I used a different lander, and it just got caught spinning. And I don't have enough monopropellant on these things to kind of correct that. So it was just easier to detach the lander and then send it over and then refuel once it got onto it, because there's loads of fuel on these ships, so it's fine. And if we run out, we can always send more up. So we'll just send this over, and we're just using the jets to get as close as possible, and then just slowly edge it towards. So you may or may not have noticed something. In a foolish mistake of design, I forgot to include some way of generating power. So you can see in the top right corner, our electrical power is slowly seeping down. And the only way to recharge that on this particular one would be to turn the engines on, which you don't really want to do when you're close to your main ship. That could end badly. So we just have to bear in mind that this has no ability to produce its own electricity, this particular one anyway. So we just edge it in under monopropellant. Just slowly. So this is still in 2 times. And then we kind of... So we're going to dock these on mirror sides from each other, so that should be fine. And then we'll have 2. And these have got 1 Kerbal. I think these can only have 1 in them. Should check that. So that's fine. This would add another one to our crew complement. Slowly bring it in, so we're back to normal speed now, game speed. We are running out of monopropellant. Well, we've got half of it left, so it takes quite a lot of propellant sometimes. I've tried to minimise the amount of thrusters I've got, but you do need a certain number. So we just bring this in. So yeah, you see I've got 3 in the back and 3 at the front. And then the magnets engage. And there you go. Sweet. So that's one of them. And as just as it was docking there, which is the point where I go, oh, it's got no lights. So I made some modifications to the next one, and it now has the ability to produce power. Put some more multi-reactors on there, and 3 lights pointing towards the object. So we can actually see where the hell we're going. That helps, I find, generally. So we'll launch this one up now with the ability to see. And we'll send this one up. And my theory was if I send it up at night, then I wouldn't end up docking at night. Didn't work. Still ended up docking. Every time I end up docking at night. Irrelevant of what I do. It just seems to happen that way. I don't know why. It must be the way that I set up the periapis and apoapis. I always end up docking at night. Don't know why. Anyway, bring this down and we shall dock our final piece of not equipment, our final object, craft to our main ship. Yeah, we'll go with that one. We're docking our final craft into it. So this will complete it, at least as in time for the time being. Anyway, I'm thinking about getting an SSTO or something like that to kind of couple onto it, but in retrospect, this thing isn't as big as I thought it should. In my head, I thought it would be bigger, and it turns out it's not actually that big. But it's just to be able to do, the bulk of what we wanted to do. And if we need a bigger craft, we can always, tack things onto it or something like that. So yeah, there we go. We have our ship that will be able to hopefully take us to more interesting places other than the moon. The first episode, what we'll probably do after this one is go to Minbus, because we haven't actually landed on Minbus, and then use the Kerbal gravity to kick us out to somewhere else. So yeah, my name's Veio. This has been Kerbal Space Program. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I shall see you guys next time.